Welcome back, YouTube. This is Bumbry, and we are continuing our subscriber-suggested series discussing the various attacking troop types. Today, you guessed it, we're covering the tank. And if you are familiar with the tanking class in most other games that exist, we haven't deviated too far from that concept. We have a massive amount of health and not so massive damage. The whole point is, we read at the bottom, the tank rushes in to the enemy lines to soak up the fire, and there are a handful of things you should keep in mind about the tank and some cool tips in terms of isotopes that I'll get to in just a moment. So we see that he takes the unit size of 3, which means he's going to take up 3 slots in your vehicle. So you could either have 3 punks or 1 tank fit in that same space, or 3 gunmen. But I'm using tanks, or excuse me, I'm using the punks as an example because in the last video I mentioned that sometimes I use them to soak up hits because they do have a decent amount of health. Nowhere near as decent as the tank. He's obviously the better choice, but not as much just for his health. Read where it says the riot shield towards the bottom there. It provides cover to the tank and halves the ranged damage. So anything that is shooting at you, be that an auto turret or be that another type of defending troop with a gun, anything that's firing weapons at you, that damage is going to be halved. So let's take a look here. I've got my auto turret, and we look at it. It looks like it's doing an amazingly awesome job. The damage per second here is, well, we'll just stick with the base stat of 103. I'm now doing 51 damage to the tank. And it's going to take a significantly long time when I'm doing 51 DPS, damage per second, to the tank. It's going to give them enough time to get over here and actually take both of these out. So the best attacks against auto turret, like the dual auto turret design that I have here, are they lean very heavily on the tank to get in here, to start swinging, and then allow your supporting troops to come in from behind and add some additional DPS. But at the end of the day, I've had people, the most successful raids I've seen, the only people to actually 2-star me in a long time, they sent in like 5 tanks before anyone else was in this room. And then once the auto turrets were out of the way and he lost maybe 1 or 2 tanks, everything else was decently easy because my enforcer here, he's not really doing that much damage to the tanks. He's doing half damage. This is why you do want to have your loony bin significantly leveled so that they can do full damage. They are always going to do full damage to the tanks. And very last, just to tie things up with a nice sweet little bow, if you look in your isotopes and under your economy isotopes, from time to time you will get one that has the fill the tank stat, whatever we want to call this. And when you are in the Wayne Tech missions, this is absolutely the best thing for you. You want to save this for those missions, obviously. I don't care what the other stats are. If you see fill the tank, save it for the Wayne Tech missions, because any of your tanks that pick up an isotope immediately collect it. In other words, they don't have to run back to the entrance. You don't run the risk of accidentally tripping wires or running into traps or blowing up or Batman. It's always a mess as soon as you can't keep your troops together in those missions. So that's absolutely the best advice I can give you. In fact, I think this last time, I don't have a replay unfortunately, but this last Wayne Tech mission, I went in with like 5 or 6 tanks. I mean, it was unreal. It was just a bunch of tanks and then some cleanup, you know, some extra DPS, if you will. And I think I lost like 2 troops that entire time. It was fantastic because as soon as they got where they were going, they scooped up all of the isotopes. Immediately they were collected, and Batman had, you know, no time to take anyone out because A, they're tanks, and B, you know, I've got all the isotopes already, so as long as I get the supervillain out, it ends the match. So I do hope that this has been a helpful synopsis of the tank and how to use him, and a little bit of a freebie tip with your isotopes. As always, please like, subscribe, and share so that we can see you in future videos very soon.